shemo. Gam ki elech begeit salmoves, lo yira ra ki ato imadi, shivtecho mishantecho, hema yinachmuni. Taruch lefonai shulchan neged sororoi, di shantav Hashem en roshi kosi revaya, ach tov v'chesed yudefuni kol yemei chayoi, v'shavti beveis Adonai l'orech yomim. Taz Zayin. Michdom leDavid, Shamreini el ki chasisi vach, amart l'Adonai Adonai ato, tovasi balolecha, likdoshim asher ba'aretz hema, ve'adirei kol chefetzi bam, yirbu atzvos amacher maharu, balasich niskei midam, uvalasas shmosam al sfosoi, Adonai minas chalki v'chosi, ato tomich gorali, Chavolim naflu li bani'imim af nachalos shofra aloi, Avorechas Adonai asher yotzoni, af leilos yisuruni chil yosoi, Shivisi Adonai lenegdi samir, ki mimincha valemot, Lochein samach livi vayagel kvodi, af besar yishkon lavetach, Ki los azov nafshi lishol, lo titein chasidecha liros shochas, Todieni orach chaim sovas machos es panecha, ni'imos biminecha netzach.
Dear beloved, yes. For the past 17 years, we've often corresponded through writing when we needed to speak with each other heart to heart without allowing emotions to get into the way. Im and I cherish all your letters, and I know you held on to ours as well. My dear son, this will be my last letter. We last spoke Sunday night. You were so down about life, how everything in your life in just a few short months had fallen apart. I kept reminding you of the lessons that you taught me. When one door gets shut, Hashem always opens another one for you. I had to remind you that you were the most loving person I had ever known, that you were the essence of love, and I pleaded with you not to give up, not to go back to drugs. But you said, Abba, I just don't want to be sober anymore. I told you how much I believe in you, as I have always. Ima told me the same thing that she had said to you. Okay, I thought, worst case scenario, you'll have another low period, and then you'll bounce back as you have done time and time again, as you always do. But you and your friend were not careful enough this time, and here I am trying to make sense out of losing you. Yes, I can't bear the thought of not hearing your boisterous, hello, Abala, when you call to share some good news with me on the phone, or even the shorter greeting, Obs, when the news is not so good. Yes, I can't bear the thought of not seeing your shiny eyes, a beautiful smile, or being embraced by your hug. I can't bear the thought of not having you ever again at a Shabbos and Yom Tov table, even though when you're there, yes, it's difficult for anybody else to get a word in. But I could deal with that because every time I ask a kasha, even before I finish asking the question, you always have the answer. Because you have a Lev Shomea, you have the deepest insights. Who will answer my kasha? Yes, you're definitely the most complex person I've ever known. I cried for you when you failed, and I laughed and I rejoiced when you succeeded. Yes, I think I learned the most important lesson in life from you. I never gave up on you. Ima never gave up on you. We never gave up on you. And if we never gave up on you, I have an idea of what it means that Hashem doesn't give up on us either, that no matter how many times we can disappoint Hashem, His love is there waiting to take us back. What's more important than that? I learned from you what it means to have unconditional love because you demanded it from me. Yes, you asked me not to judge you, and I didn't. And therefore, I try not to judge other people. Yes, you taught me how to be an honest person because you are the most honest person that I know. Because there's no such thing with putting on a show with you. Yes, who will be my ready now? You're my ready. Sorry. Yes, in one of the letters that you wrote to us years ago, you wrote the following: Dear Ima and Abba, as you all know, life for me is very challenging, to say the least. The pain and terror I face within myself almost doesn't seem to match the life I've had. I have a good family, friends, the whole deal, which is why it is very difficult to explain my lifetime of pain and confusion. I'm a big question to myself. Sometimes I just feel so lost, so lonely. I don't want both of you to die without seeing me happy, without being proud of me. Yes, I have lots of pain in my heart, whether from years of frustration, disappointment, guilt, loss. Who knows? Maybe Hashem just gave me a broken heart. But my promise to you both is I will never give up. You will see me do great things. You will see a miracle because I believe. Love always, your son, Yes. Yes, let me tell you, you never gave up, and every time you slipped, you climbed back up. Yes, we did see the great things that you did. We did see miracles in your life. We saw them every day, that even with your struggles, you accomplished so much. Yes, Hashem didn't give you a broken heart. He gave you a healing heart. You helped and even saved so many afflicted people. Whether it was the Kesha boys, the boys in the Levaya when you were the dorm counselor, the boiler room gang, your rehab and sober living friends, anybody who needed a friendship or guidance, you were there for them. Just look at the never-ending list of people thanking you, missing you, hurting for you on your Facebook. Chazal say, B'sha'ah sha'adam niftar min ha'olam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer L'malchei HaShareis, Re'u Mahabrias Omos of love. When a person passes from this world, God says to the angels, go and see what people say about him. Go, everybody look at Yiss's Facebook and see what they say about him. Yes, you're a hero to us and to so many people whose lives you have touched. Yes, you're 32 years old. Lamed Beis, the word lave, the word for heart. Anybody who has the schus of knowing you knows that your heart is huge, larger than life. What you wouldn't do for a friend, your loyalty goes beyond belief. And perhaps when you reach the age of lave, your mission was complete. You gave your entire heart to others till there was nothing left to give, so that we too could learn what it means to love and to give. So now Hashem has opened his loving arms and has taken you back. Yissy, my sweet Yissy, Hashem gave you as a precious gift to Ima and to me to nurture your unique neshama. It wasn't an easy job for us, yes. Please forgive us if we didn't appreciate the gift all the time. If we failed to acknowledge your struggle the way we should have, for words said in anger, but for which we never meant. We couldn't have asked for a better son. You're so special, yes. Even I will miss you so dearly until we meet again in Gan Eden, when Bila Hamavas Lenetzach, Umocha Hashem B'dima Mi'al Kol Panim, your loving Abba and Ima. I would like to conclude with a bracha for our family, to Yiss's grandmothers, my mother Sharon Cohn, and to Bracha's mother Shirley Rosenblatt, to his siblings Mordechai Yehuda, Moshe Aryeh, at Chanamalka, to their families, and to his loving mother, above all, and to all of his friends who are in pain today, that we should be comforted. Hashem should help each and every one of us overcome our challenges in life to be victorious in our battles. The best merit for Yissy's neshama is that each and every one take upon us to improve bein adam lechavero, between man and man, and bein adam lemakom, between ourselves and God.
Yissy, mine and your lives and our relationship have been nothing short of a wild roller coaster. The ride started with long, straight tracks. Those were the early years. We were best friends, going to school together, riding bikes, Little League, sharing friends because we were only a grade apart. I look at pictures of those years, and I cry because I see my own kids looking just as happy as we did. Then the coaster started to drop fast. It was scary, and it was in a free fall. It made me mad, dizzy, and confused, even frustrated at times. But then came the ascent, the joy and the pride, the excitement. We rejoiced at those moments. But the coaster came crashing down. We defended you. We tried to help you. You were distant, disturbed, and in pain. So much of our lives discussion revolved around how you're doing. At every encounter, people would always ask how Yiss is doing. Whether we wanted it or not, you were always a central focus of our family's discussion. Mishlei talks about a tzaddik falling 7 times and rising. In your case, it was about 30 times of rising and falling and rising, all but the last time. When I was younger, there was so much I didn't understand. As the years went by, I began to understand the illness and would brag to my friends at the high moments and good moments in your lives, always hoping that it would last. I was so proud at those times. You loved Racheli and Yaakov Meir and Menachem and Aaron so much. It was always your first stop on your visit home. They cherished those times. You were the fun Uncle Yiss, always bringing presents, even when it was with your last dollars. The trips to Target and Dunkin' Donuts are memories that they will forever remember. And Abba and Ima, and this is firsthand, you gave your entire existence to Yissy. I have witnessed unimaginable, inhumane challenges that you were overcome by you. You stood by him when everyone else, under those circumstances, would have thrown the towel in. I believe you kept him alive with your unconditional love, which became his lifeblood. When people think of examples of unconditional love, they should look to you as primary examples. Hashem should give both of you the power to continue giving that love to everyone you encounter. Ein chavish yotzi asmi beisa asurim. Yes, you lived your life to help others, even when you couldn't always help yourself. In every way, in every capacity, and in every stage in your life, your main function was to help others. You gave people unconditional love. People gave it to you because you gave it to them. To our family, we need to love others better like Yissy did. We need to become more passionate about the things that we believe in like Yissy did. We need to become more passionate about the people we love like Yissy did. And we need to become closer as a family. Yes, Aliza and I love you very much, and I know how much you loved Aliza as well. I'm asking you for mechila, for not showing our love more, for not expressing it enough. May you continue doing what you did in this world, and doing it so well in this world, may you continue doing it for us in Shemayim, by helping our family, by helping Klal Yisrael, being a Meilas Yosher to everyone. Tei nishmasa sharura b'tzara chaim.
We lost someone very close to us, all of us. Whether you knew him as Yissy, Shol Yaakov, or Uncle Yee. And even though we all standing in this room may not have been born into the same family, through Yiss, we became one family. No matter who you were or where you were from, if you met Yiss, and you know if you met Yiss, all it took was once. You became his sister, his brother, his friend, instantly. Yiss would often say, "It's bad enough that I'm in pain, but why do I have to cause other people pain?" Today I'd like to publicly tell Yissy, on behalf of everybody, that your struggles were big and many, but they were never a burden. On the contrary, having Yiss watching and guarding constantly having to find him a place to sleep or get him into a home somewhere many times. Those were opportunities for us, for each of us. The greatest lesson that Yiss gave us was how to love. How to really love somebody. Not because it made you feel good or because it was easy for you, but love somebody when it's not so easy. Love somebody when it takes a lot. Takes more than you know you have. That's what Yissy taught us. My first year in Eretz Yisrael, I had the opportunity of spending a Shabbos, many Shabbos, throughout Israel with family, but especially with Yiss. And I always look forward to these weekends because I knew something was going to happen. So I was going to meet somebody, or somebody was going to tell me something about Yiss, and it was each one was an unbelievable experience. I just want to share one with you. It was the first Shabbos I was going to spend at base. I was all excited, and I heard all these amazing stories. And I show up on Friday, and I go to Yiss's room, and he's so excited. He's showing me, "Look, I bought Michtav Milio, and he started rambling it off, and look, this Ali Shore, and he starts rambling off this. Oh, I got to show you this. And then I said, yes, that's great. Where am I staying? He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll figure it out. And I said, yes, where are you staying? He said, what do you mean? I looked at his room, and he had nothing, just farm. I said, where's your blanket? He said, oh, you don't know. This morning I was on the way to yeshiva, and I saw a guy sleeping, Nebuch, right outside the front door. And I said, what are you doing here? And he said, oh, I don't have anything. I don't have anywhere to sleep. So Yissy said, oh, why don't you come back to my room and take a nap? And I let him take a nap, and then I woke him up a couple hours later, and I sent him away, and I realized he didn't have a blanket, so I gave it to him. And I was like, what? You gave someone a blanket? You didn't even know him. You didn't. And that was just the beginning. Every Friday we'd have a minhag that we would eat schnitzel and potato kugel at Shtissel's. And it was a challenge getting from Kikar Shabbos to there, because Yissy knew every Meshulach by first name, and not just he knew their kids and where they were going. And I was like, what? You don't understand. Such a big tzaddik, dude. You have to get a bracha. Really? I don't want to touch them. No, you don't understand. Give them a hug. And you have any money on you? Teaching people how to love beyond what you feel comfortable doing. One of Yissy's greatest lessons. Besides giving, Yissy also taught us how to see when nobody else could see it. Yissy taught us how to see the best in people. But not just people. Yissy taught us to see the best in ourselves. It was so natural for him. He didn't have to look far. You just, in an instant, he would sum it up and size you up, and you'd feel like $1 million. You know exactly, yeah, you're right. I am awesome. That was Yes. Finding the good in everybody. Because for him, everybody was good. And he was the best Uncle Yi. And my kids loved him. They always look forward to Yissy coming over. And he did. He spoke baby language. He claimed that he did, and he did. He would be the first one getting on the floor, rolling around without a shirt. He was a man of extremes. Extreme ahava, extreme emes. And the challenge for us now is to live with those extremes, to love people with extreme ahava. And to look at ourselves with emes and ask ourselves honestly, what are we doing for ourselves and for our families? Yissy, I love you. I ask you, Mechila, on behalf of Mashi and myself, if I've ever made you feel like you were a burden, or if I've ever made you feel like I wasn't there, or if you were alone, you aren't. You can look around the room and around the world today and you see how much you're loved and how you are not alone. Macha Hashem Diyom Yal Kol Panim.
Yes, Yes, my dear brother, you lived in a world that I would truly never understand. A world that consisted of the best of times and the worst of times, with only a 5-minute separation. The struggles you overcame throughout your short life are more than anyone should have to face in a lifetime. The power to keep going, the power to bring yourself back up, are the powers that you mastered and preached to the thousands of your brothers. Brothers that confided in you, listened to you, and looked up to you. Over the past 48 hours, more than 100 people have reached out to express how you positively changed your life. I am one of those people. You taught me how to believe in myself and to have confidence. You showed me how to trust in others and love your friends. Your ability to connect with people regardless of their story or background was remarkable. Yes, people have tremendous love for you. Throughout my life, wherever I go, I'm faced with the same question. How's your brother Yiss doing? In rehab again, just got out of rehab, been clean for a few weeks, lost 100 pounds, gained 100 pounds, just started a program for troubled teens. I was forced to come up with a generic answer that covered everything. Yiss is Yiss, loving life, helping others, being helped, extreme highs and extreme lows. But now I can answer that question accurately. Yiss is at peace. Yes, my dear brother, I beg of you, Mechila, for any hardships I caused you. Our communication during the rough and down times was difficult and minimal. But please know I loved you at the best of times, and I loved you at the worst of times. Sippy and I will love you and miss you forever.
Speaking last of the four brothers, I was worried that I would say the same thing. But it's clear and obvious that saying the same thing is what needs to be said. What is life if not for the struggles we go through, the love we give, and the people we touch? In this light, Yiss has lived a life of 120 years. We don't know the journey of each soul or the desired tikkun it needs during its visit to this world. But through meeting people and being involved in someone's life, we get a small glimpse into the beauty of their soul. I lost my big brother, but I am blessed to have had the opportunity to see so much more than a glimpse into his soul. While some souls have many covers, making it difficult to see, Yiss's soul was so clear and so pure, so visible and so precious. If you meditate on a candle, the bright flame sheds warmth while it dances on the wick, flickering, almost jumping, as if to say, I want to get higher, I want to go up. But it cannot. The wick gives it vitality, and if it leaves the wick, the flame is no more. That is the relationship between the body and soul, and that was Yissy's life. A body so pained by the neshama it knew it had inside, and a neshama so pained by the body it had to fight with day in and day out. But despite his pain, he taught me how to fight. He taught me how to win, to never give up, and to never back down. Yiss taught me the only way to fight the battles which seem unbeatable was to team up with God and have Him by your side. V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha. There's emunah peshuta in this world, a simple belief, a trust in God. And then there is Yissy's emunah and betachon. His unique and powerful trust in Hashem was so engraved through tears and blood that it was tattooed to his heart. This virtue permeated his very being and touched all those around him, and that's how I remember you, Yiss. Archkins. For as long as I can remember, he called me Archkins. I learned with my brother. I chilled and munched with my brother. I cried with my brother, and I laughed with my brother. I truly believed and prayed each day that one day our kids will play together, or we sat together and learned some more. You are my Rebbe in so many ways. You told me love is not an emotion, it's an action, and we must choose to love. And you showed me how to love. You love so hard and so real. You literally broke your heart into pieces and gave it a little piece to everyone you loved. Now we must gather the pieces of your heart, which lives inside each of us, and come together through love. And by doing so, you will be whole within the ones you loved. Like it was mentioned, Yiss was 32, which is befitting the gematria of the word Lev, for Yiss was indeed a loving heart. But where does such a love come from? I saw the give and take of unfathomable, true love between a parent and their child. Abba and Ima, you are the most incredible people I've ever met, and Yiss was so lucky to have you as parents during his life. The tears you cried and the love you showed has tilted the scale in heaven. As a family, we have been molded by your strength, support, and your unwavering love. But there is no bigger pain than losing a child, and it is now our turn to support you and to shower you with all the strength and love you deserve. We lost Yiss, and our life will never be the same. But not because you're dead, but because you lived.
Yiss, my brother, was my teddy bear. As long as I can remember, he was there with his open arms to give me the tightest hug anybody can ever imagine. He knew when something was bothering me, and he would say his famous words, "Who is it? If anyone is bothering my baby sister, I'll kill them." And I knew that was true. He was not only my teddy bear, but he was also my bodyguard. I felt so safe when he would sleep at home, and I knew that he could always protect me if I needed him. Not only was he my bodyguard, but he was also my best friend. Even when he was going through so much different struggles throughout his life, the love he gave me was always so constant and even stronger than the love he had before. I always could depend on him. I looked up to him and admired his strength and perseverance. I wanted to love someone the way he loved every single person in this world. Even strangers he was able to connect to and love and find something good about every single one. All I want now is for him to walk in the door and yell, "Hey, Et," and give me one of his bear hugs again. I know everybody here loved him so much, and I appreciate all the love and support, but I just want to acknowledge my parents for a second. I don't think I will ever, in my whole entire life, know of parents who are as loving as my parents, as kind as my father, and as giving as my mother. I know that Yiss was so proud to be called your son and to be called our brother. whatever I'm saying right now, I also want to say that Chamalka agrees because she's my elder sister, and Yiss loved us so much because we were the only girls. But Yiss, I'm so overwhelmed with love for you, and that will never ever change, ever. I love you, and I miss you so much. Please give me some of your strength. Thank you.
The first time I met Yisrael Yaakov Polstein, I was at a party. It was a yeshiva party, and they did have those. It wasn't only at a crown. And he drank too much, and Yiss was horrible at drinking. He was the worst. He hated it. He was trying to fit in, and he was asked not to come back in the house. Mind you, it was the middle of winter. It couldn't have been, it was probably 0. I don't really recall. I do recall his beautiful physique as he had no shirt on. We were outside having a cigarette, and it's the first time I ever met him, and I didn't write any of this, but we got caught up talking about the concept of free will and the concept of God. And after 15 minutes, I realized he had no shirt and he was freezing. So I gave him the jacket off my back because I got so enwrapped in the conversation. And I asked him where he was staying, and in typical Yiss fashion, he said, I don't know. And so I invited him back to my house. And he said, really? And I said, what do you mean, really? And from there, I'm gonna try reading now. Yiss is like a brother to me. I say is out of constant frustration, anger, and denial. Yissy was a brother to me. There. He was. I've now said it. Because living in the present was something we would often discuss during our existential conversations. Conversations about life, about love, about God, and about family. I'm crying as I write this, so I hope I have the courage to deliver these words to you guys. Yissy, you ridiculous combination of Einstein, a Yenta, and a teddy bear. All throughout our conversations, out of ignorance and out of being a naive youth, my hands are tingling. I would question your claim to having any type of chemical imbalance, this myth of bipolar, and I would say just deal with it. Just stop complaining. What would you do if you couldn't complain? And the other night, when reality came crashing down on me, if you had 1% of what I felt, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, because if you felt anything that I felt when I realized that you weren't here anymore, I'm so sorry. I'm so damn sorry. Your ability to read people, situations, physical mannerisms, your adept intellect, Your ability to be not even half awake in a shear and just open your mouth and answer a question that people were pondering was preposterous and out of this world. It constantly made me doubt illness. As we would grow, I started to really recognize and appreciate one of your biggest gifts, your open mind, your open heart, the desire to help others. It was the most ironic and cynical trait of yours because it was the most difficult for you to direct towards yourself. It got cut off there. This is where I started again. Yes, I'm writing this on a plane. I didn't want you to fly alone. I didn't want you to come back here alone. If I could have gone wherever they placed you, I would have gone there, I swear to you. I don't think we would fit through security, but I would really argue. On a side note, American Airlines has ceased and desist their compassion program, where they offer a fair rate. Just to let you know, they have no more compassion. Various memories pop in my head, countless, to the point where no words can ever do absolute justice to you. You always, and I just realized it yesterday, you always introduced me as your best friend. Never, ever, this is David, this is my friend, this is my best friend, David. I briefly want to touch on the concept. Yissy always reminded me when we would discuss Judaism. You're ignorant, you don't understand it. You're so right, yes. But I do love life, and I do love God. And I do love Judaism, and I love my history. And I slightly comprehend the idea of what kavanah is and what your intentions were. Your brilliant understanding, and I would mock you because I would say, only you, of course you can deal with people with autism. You are that way, and you're special. And the way you dealt with Naphtali was so commendable. It was so amazing. He pinched you, you pinched him back. He'd say, ow. You say, ow. I don't like it either. From Levaya, boiler room, to your 24-hour service, to God knows who was calling you. You always made time, not enough time for yourself. And when I speak of intention, it's the last time I'm going to ask for forgiveness from you, Yissy. I know you're here. I would often, and I say it out of honesty, and I guess this isn't written, I'm looking down because it's hard to look up. But I would judge you sometimes. I really would, and I'd say I wouldn't, but I was lying. When you would get a dog, I'd say, what the hell are you doing? You have 2 legs, you can't take something with 4. You're dating a girl, I'd say, I would sound like a politician. And you'd say, you can't be happy for me. I'd say, of course I can be happy for you, but. And I realized that your intentions were so pure. And you were just trying to live. You just wanted what other people had. You wanted a family. You wanted a dog. You wanted kids. And I'm not being sacrilegious, but he was the greatest Rav I ever had. And for anyone that wasn't close to him, that thinks, that assumes anything, He wasn't just a sick guy. He wasn't just someone that did drugs. He had a job. He had no job. He was fat. He was skinny. He was laughing. He was crying. He was in Chicago. He was in Israel. He was in Los Angeles. And every single time he was trying. He really was trying. I don't know who I will ever eat with again. The noises that came out of your mouth when you ate bordered on gluttony, but were saved with a sincerity and an appreciation. Around 4 months ago, you came over for Shabbat lunch. In typical Yissy fashion, you had napkins to wipe off the sweat. You had no shirt to show off the masterful physique. I nervously anticipated the verdict on my truant. What was Yissy gonna say? He looked up at me with those eyes, and I have to mention his eyes, for it would be doing a disservice to him. He had the most amazing eyes. And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "That's some serious stuff." And I respected his taste buds. We began to talk about my engagement. And he said, basically, I just want to take full credit for that. And he was right. I never would have met my wife. He was outgoing to her. He invited her to the postings for Shabbat. Because of that, she decided to learn. Because of that, she decided to have a conservative conversion. Because of that, she decided to now have an Orthodox conversion. And she made certain, because she couldn't be here, that I would say that he knows. She laughed when he said that he was responsible, but he was right. He was truly right. And one of the worst things is that he wasn't with me at my wedding. He apologized over and over and over again, and it was so hard to forgive him. Not because out of selfishness, because I wanted him there. I wanted to dance with him. That's it. That's absolutely it. Where am I? The Lubavitcher Rabbi would often point out the basic law of physics, known as thermodynamics, that there's absolutely no energy that is ever lost or destroyed, and that it only assumes a different form. And may all of us be blessed to encounter that in any shape, way, or form. And I promise you, Yissy, you're not dead to me, and you live in my heart, and you live in my future, and you live in my soul. And for his family, he always talked about you with pride. And the only thing he was afraid of was disappointing you. And I want to thank Rabbi Polstein for showing me again what Yissy was. When I called him, I was just calling to say, I don't even know what, just to hear his voice. And the first thing he said to me was, "I'm so sorry you lost your best friend." And it's that selflessness that he gave to Yissy, that he gave to me. And bless you guys for creating him, and thank God for him. Thank you guys.
Precious. My name is Eliyahu Fink, and I'm an addict of Yissy. Couldn't stop. I knew Yissy 3 different ways. We both came to Ner Yisrael High School, 9th grade. And after just a few days, we were best friends. Best friends for 9th grade, best friends through the difficult 10th grade, until he left our yeshiva. We reunited when we were both 19, and Yissy was thriving. More recently, Yissy reconnected with me. My shul on Venice Beach, where he belonged, and my home, my family, became another supportive environment for him. When I think of Yissy, I first think of high school. So I remember 10th grade, we were assigned to read the book A Separate Piece by John Knowles. Remains a favorite of mine. The book is a parable set in World War II in an idyllic boarding school, much like our in Ner Israel. And we meet a young boy, teenager named Phineas. And Phineas has it all. He's charismatic, he's athletic, he's smart, he's too kind, he's too good. He doesn't fit, he doesn't belong. And the story tells how he dies in a freak accident just before he's able to be drafted to fight in World War II. To me, the message was always very simple. Some people are too good for conflict. Our world is a world of conflict. This is not a world for those people. Phineas was too good for this world. Yissy didn't belong here. In some ways, he was too good for this world. When the rest of us encounter conflict, we struggle with it, but we're able to be dispassionate enough that we can go on. But for Yissy, there was no dispassion. Everything was full throttle. And his goodness was full throttle. And that's why he can't be here. In some ways, at least for a while, Yissy was not Phineas. He was the hero of the broken. He was the one who struggled and was able to thrive. Doesn't last forever. Sometimes a verse in the Chumash, or Navi, Nach, anywhere really, can speak to us at just the right moment. Sometimes a verse can sum up all of our feelings. There's a verse like that in this week's Parsha. It describes precisely the tension that we felt and that Yissy felt in different ways. Moshe proclaims, Eicha esol levadi, tarachechem u'maasechem v'rivechem. Moshe says, how can I carry your worries alone? How can I carry your burdens alone? How can I carry your quarrels alone? I knew Yissy before the worries, before the burdens, before the quarrels. He was the kind of yeshiva student that every Rebbe dreams of. Unlimited potential. So smart. Wickedly smart. It made us all feel terrible. So friendly. He was nice to everybody. Made us all feel terrible. So charismatic. He didn't know how not to be nice to people. He didn't know how to not make people like him. Athletic, passionate, with devotion. He spoke so glowingly of his siblings and his parents and his life. He never had a bad experience in his mind. When I think back, 14-year-old me, 14-year-old Yissy, it's always a smile. And his clarity and learning was unbelievable. I know that this is something that doesn't seem to make sense under the context and the situation that we're in right now. But I have never seen somebody learn the way he did. He understood what was being taught on a level beyond what the teacher was saying. He didn't have to listen. He didn't have to pay attention. He could do whatever he wanted. He could goof off whatever he wanted to do. And he still was scoring 110% on every single exam. He prayed with passion and devotion. And most of the smarter kids and ones who thrive and excel in the early days of yeshiva are the ones who are studious and quiet. I was neither. I was friends with Yissy. Yissy was the smart one who was one of us, and we were all proud. When he got that 110, when he got that perfect in paper, he did it for us. It's so hard for me, though, to think of specific things because in my 9th grade experience, Yissy was a constant. Everything that happened to me happened to him. Everything that happened to him happened to me. We were just together. It was one thing. Connection was natural, and I was proud to be his friend, and I wanted to show him off to my family, so I brought him home for off Shabbos more than once, to Muncie. And I wanted my family to know my friend. So I asked my parents, some of my siblings, what they remember, because they only had that small sliver of Yissy. What do they remember? In just one off Shabbos, he became one of us. I'm sure you've all had that same experience many times. Fits in right away and all in. My little sister, who's 26, recalls Yissy entertaining her in the playhouse. She was 7. He was sitting in her playhouse playing with her. And he wasn't doing it as a favor to her or to me or to my parents or to show off. He was having a blast. And she remembers Yissy's infectious laugh. She actually did a perfect imitation, which I can't do. But he had a unique laugh. My father remembers his incredibly quick mind. He said that when Yissy was there, it was just like talking to somebody way beyond 14-year-old's understanding. My father's a very smart man, very smart family, my father's family. Yissy had a sense of wisdom and intellect, comprehension skills way beyond his years. My mother remembers his big smile, and most of all, his easygoing nature. These are the things they told me, and I thought to myself, Yissy made our tirchos, tarachechem, our worries go away with his laugh. Yissy made our ma'asos, our burdens, go away with his sharp mind, solutions. Yissy made our rivos, our quarrels, go away with his magnanimity. Then his worries came. The burdens came. The quarrels came. My best friend, was unwell. He was acting erratic. He was troubled. He needed help. And he had to leave. When he left, I lost my best friend. And he never returned. First time I heard the words manic depressive. We're standing in the Ner Israel School payphone in the 10th grade dorm talking to Yissy. I was wondering what happened to my friend. And he was trying to explain it to me like it made sense. Moses laments his inability to deal with the struggles of the people. That's what he says. I marvel at Yissy's ability, his indomitable spirit in dealing with struggles. Seems even more overwhelming than the struggles Moses said he couldn't deal with. But somehow he did it. For so long. And with trepidation in our hearts, we all wondered, how long can he do this? ask forgiveness from the esteemed audience, but I'm going to quote from a source that maybe not everybody approves of. Because sometimes I need language to describe things. And there is a group of phrases that describes our fears. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. When tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone, but it goes to waste. Tears come streaming down your face. I promise you, I will learn from all my mistakes, and I will try to fix you. That's what we all thought, but we were wrong all along. We could not fix Yissy. Nothing could make Yissy all better, but that wasn't the point of it all. I'm very grateful for a friend who I don't even know personally. Somebody just sent me an email. I know him on the internet. And he sent me a source, the Nesiva Shalom, that really expresses what I think Yissy taught all of us. The purpose of life is to fix ourselves, our character. Character, he says, is more vital than the missions of our life that involve prohibitions. We are very caught up in not doing the wrong thing. But Nesiva Shalom says real life happens in our character development. And success in working on character makes us happy. But what is success? Success in the material world is winning, accumulation. But character is different. It's not material. The goal is not the result or the change. The goal is actually the work. God has nachas from our efforts, not just from the results. And he says it's like a soldier in war on the battlefield who is injured or killed. If the soldier fought valiantly, he fulfills his purpose. Purple Hearts are not awarded to people that survived the war by avoiding conflict. Anu amelim umikablim sachar. We toil and get reward. Doesn't mean that we toil and we get somewhere and then the place that we get gives us a reward. It's the toil itself that grants us reward. Of course, Torah and mitzvos are part of that puzzle. But when we fail in our efforts, we typically create self-doubt and cynicism in ourselves, but there's no reason for that. Our job is simply to try. No one tried harder than Yissy. No one tried with a better attitude than Yissy. No one was as open about their struggles as Yissy. No one gave others as much hope in their struggles as Yissy. So many people today are living good, productive, healthy lives, and they thank one person for that. Yissy. He inspired them. He gave them tools. He gave them skills and motivation to try harder. Yissy leaves behind a legacy of helping others, especially those who needed it most and who other people would not help. The ones who were most in need. He did it in his own way, but he also did it in the way that we all wish we could do it, with love, kindness, compassion, big, toothy grin, and of course, passion, effort. We get reward for the effort. Some people say life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I disagree. Neither. Life is running. It's not about the destination. The act of living is engaging in the struggle of living. Yiss earned his reward for that. And not just for embracing his challenges. I don't want to limit it to just the fact that he embraced challenges and was willing to struggle in them. There were also incredible triumphs. Victories that shocked all of us. They even shocked Yissy. First time my wife met Yissy, he was in our shul on a Hanukkah, just rambled in his usual gregarious way. Hadn't seen him in a decade. The biggest hug I ever got in my life was that second. The love was palpable, passion, feeling of belonging. He wanted to be there. He enjoyed being there. But he was still Yissy. He's talking to my wife, who doesn't know anything about this person other than maybe she heard of my friend that I once had named Yissy Polstein. It was right when he returned to my life for the third time. And he says, I've been out of rehab for 20 times in the last 10 years. I have my 45-day chip. I'm probably going to be back in rehab in the next 10 years a few times. My wife's like, who is this person? He was proud of his victories, but he didn't even realize how amazing they sounded. And he took pride in what I was doing. Not to take credit, but to say, I was his chavrusa, she tells my wife. I was better than him in learning in 9th grade. He was, still would be. He had no filter, in the best and worst possible way. The world filters us. We're afraid. We have fears. We don't want to be exposed. Yissy didn't care. He was fully exposed. Why do you think he always had his shirt off? It's a metaphor. He had his shirt off because he had everything off. He was exposed. Here I am. Hineni. The victories that he had, the success that he had, could only be explained by Herculean strength and willpower. Yiss won often. He won a lot. And the final tally will show that Yiss won dozens and dozens of times. He only lost once.
Yel malirachamim shechem bamroimim hamsei menucha nechona tachas kanfei hashchina b'malos kedoshim utarim kizayar rakia mazirim Es Nishmas Yisrael Yaakov ben Yosef David Sheholach Lolamo Bavo Shemishpachto Yitain Staka Biad Askaras Nishmaso Began Eden Te Menuchaso Lachin Balorachamim Yastireu B'Seisek Nafav Li'olamim V'Yisrael B'Tzrachayim Esh Nishmaso Adonai Hu Nachaloso V'Yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'Nomar Amen.
This concludes the funeral here at the chapel. The crew will take place at Ridgelawn Cemetery. It's around 5700 on Pulaski. We ask for those that are not going to the cemetery and you parked on the streets or any illegal parking, we ask you that you depart immediately. And if you're in the parking lot and you're not going to the cemetery, to depart immediately too. At the conclusion of the interment, the family will be sitting Shiva at the Polstein residence, 2914 West Estes. Shachris every morning is at 8, and Mincha Marv is at 7:40. The family requests no visitors between 12 and 2 and 5 and 7 p.m. For those who will be going to the cemetery, we'll be lining up in a parking lot. Just have some patience until we get everybody situated. The following individuals have been asked to act as pallbearers: Morty Polstein, Yehuda Polstein, Moshe Polstein, Arya Polstein, Yaakov Arya Schultz, Ezra Hoffman, Yosef Rosen, and Dov Rosen. If we can have everybody please rise as we escort Sir Yaakov from the chapel. Once we have left the chapel, we'll ask everybody to please go immediately to your vehicles.